Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also on BrightShine right here in the city of Memphis in the county of Simmons in the state of Tennessee. Day date is early Monday morning, September 28, 2020 time, 6:30 a.m. First, I thank all my family support for your continued encouragement support. I'm continuing to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area and continue to further my education and moral cause online. I continue to pursue my social degree study and administration. Concentrating more at the present time, take a break, going to school in the very near future. I will be going back to moral cause online to continue to pursue my social degree study and administration. Concentration market. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. The United States Department of Justice. Anti-gang. See, when you see these bitch-ass cowards walking their asses around, going around talking they from the East Coast and all that. See, the United States Department of Justice. Anti-gang. There ain't no such thing. There ain't no such thing. Call the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Call the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The East Coast bitch trying to claim the whole damn East Coast from the east, from the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, using that occult knowledge. That's what the Federal Bureau of Investigation want to hear. That's what they want to hear. Just like when you see me sitting and walking around on the streets of Memphis, in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee, and they see all these damn bitches walking around from the East Coast. Call the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They trying to use their occult list. That's what the Federal Bureau of Investigation want to hear. That's what they want to hear. They know what that literature is. Anti-gang. See, when the United States Department of Justice say anti-gang, see, that's the reason why I do what I do. See, it ain't no need to argue. Ain't nothing to argue about. See, in the past, yesterday, the majority of African Americans were uneducated, miseducated, undereducated. See, so when somebody trying to tell you something, see, that will cause a lot of issues for a lot of people. You got these people that come up to you and then try to tell you this and that. And so it took many years to where we are today. A lot of people had suffered the oppression, you understand, and had to survive in such a way that they did basically, people did whatever just to survive. And so when you hear anti-gang, it's not wrong, it's right. When you open up the dictionary tell you what the word gang means, and that also means mob and any other street slang that criminals try to use. See, there ain't no nothing to argue about. But yesterday, people had actually, had some big disagreement, like they ain't want to listen to nobody, they ain't want to be a gang. But see, the sorority and fraternity did a lot of things that's wrong. See, and negatively influencing a lot of African Americans by talking about the Constitution, telling you got freedom of expression, you got freedom of speech, and you got freedom of assembly and all that. But see, like I said, United States Department of Justice, they know way more than the sorority and the fraternity alumni. See, the United States Department of Justice, they know way more. The sorority and fraternity ain't nobody to the United States Department of Justice. They ain't nobody. A bunch of damn criminals. See? And then when it comes to that literature, when they come to that literature, Western esotericism, Western mystery tradition, Hermetism, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, the Eastern Star, Age of Life, Spiritualism, Kabbalah. You see occult, arcane, microcosm, exoteric. See, the United States Department of Justice, they know about this. They know. They know what that is. Occult, arcane, esoteric, spiritualism, theosophy, anthroposophy, Hermetic order, the Golden Dawn, New Age. Then you have all this occult science, occult property. See, the United States Department of Justice, they know about it. They know about it. They know what that is. See, they know what it is. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know what you're talking about. You see, when it comes to that so-called literature, see, the United Nations, that's all the people on the earth. When you talk about that literature, all the people on the earth, they know when you try to go from the United States or when you try to go to any other country with that literature and try to influence people. Well, I mean, basically out on the street, people can talk to each other, but I mean, the government, see, the United Nations, they know about all that. That's the reason why we have a United Nations. See, that's the reason why we have a United Nations today. There were so many people trying to go around with that doggone nonsense. And people, it took years for what you see today, the United Nations. And the United Nations, they enacted the international, the Bill of Human Rights, the Declaration of Human Rights. Because people were using that occult literature. And they made it perfectly clear it's wrong. So all that occult literature is wrong. The International Bill of Human Rights. That's right. Now, I'm going to continue to, what time is it? 6:37. Yeah, I know I'm having to work the weekends. It's like I'm working 7 days a week, but I'm still doing my video, so it's 6:37. A couple more minutes, and then I'm doing my Instagram. After I do my Instagram, I'm doing my Facebook Live. I'm gonna be moving kind of fast. But I'm gonna continue to be I'm gonna continue to protest and speak out. I'm gonna continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke, who was unjustly murdered by ignorant buffoon field house nigga named Berkeley Frank. And Mr. Sam Cooke's murder was it was investigated and ruled justifiable homicide by some criminals at a coroner's inquest. Now, I purchased a copy of Mr. Sam Cooke's autopsy or coroner's inquest. Those are official court documents. That's official court document, because you had the law says the public has a right to know. And so for $25 from Celebrity Archive. Now, Mr. Sam Cooke's verdict, a coroner's jury, the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, in the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke, deceased, before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles. We, the jury, summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles County at room 150, Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, the 16th day of December, AD 1964, to inquire into the cause of the death of Sam Cooke. Having been duly sworn according to law, having made such inquisition, hearing the testimony adduced upon our oaths, each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cooke, a male married, native of Mississippi, aged about 33 years, that he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964, 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California, that this death was caused by a gunshot wound in the chest, perforating the heart and both lungs. The massive hemorrhage inflicted by a gun in the hands of Bertha Franklin, 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California, after the deceased had made forcible entry, and from the testimony introduced at this time, we find the death to be justifiable homicide committed by the said Bertha Franklin, protecting life and property. All of which we do is certified by this inquisition right by us signed the 16th day of December 1964. There's no such thing. The evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, she made a statement to the police at the scene of the crime. And the scene of the crime was investigated by the police, by the Los Angeles Police Department. And the evidence is overwhelming. The firearm, the handgun that was used, wrong, 22 revolver, pistol. And the bullet that killed Mr. Sam Cooke was still in Mr. Sam Cooke's body. It was recovered from his body. So they did a ballistics on the gun and the bullet, and it was a match. There were two other, she fired 3 shots, and there were 2 other shots fired. They found one more bullet at the scene of the crime. Then the last bullet, they didn't find, they had shell casings in the firearm. But the bullet itself, they found, so they found 2 bullets at the scene of the crime. One in Mr. Sam Cooke's body, which was tested with the firearm, with the gun that was used to shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke, and it was a match. The ballistics test, it was a match. And then they found the other bullet at the scene of the crime. And Mr. Sam Cooke's body, of course, as evidence. And a wrong 22 revolver pistol. You can't shoot and kill another person, hit both lungs and the heart from the front and the back with one bullet. See, Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed with one bullet. One bullet. Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed from his left side. The bullet hit his left lung first, then hit his heart, then hit his right lung in a downward direction. Mr. Sam Cooke was not standing. Couldn't have, use your common sense, and no way in the world a bullet going in a downward direction. You couldn't have been standing. You was on your knees. There's evidence. And see, the shooter was so close to Mr. Sam Cooke, there was gunpowder residue on Mr. Sam Cooke's clothes. He had a sports jacket on. The shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, was so close to him that it, you understand, that it left gunpowder residue on the sports jacket. And of course, there was some blood splatter. Mr. Sam Cooke, when he was shot and killed, the shooter was so close to Mr. Sam Cooke that the blood splattered on the clothes. Now, there's only 2 people at the crime scene. There was a time when we didn't have DNA tests. The court would have to go through a process of elimination. There's only 2 people at the crime scene: the shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, and the victim, Mr. Sam Cooke. Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed. He the victim. Blood coming from his left side. So if you the shooter and you made a statement to the police, You should. Now we're gonna have to go through a process and use your common sense. Now, you finna sit there and tell the police you're not gonna, you're not gonna say it, and you're gonna exercise your right to remain silent. Well, you can remain silent all you want. You got blood on your clothes. Now, before you came to work, since you was the manager at the motel, you're going to tell the prosecuting attorney that the blood on your clothes is not Sam Cooke's. It's not the victim's blood. It's not Miss Sam's blood. Why in the hell would anybody come to work with blood on their clothes? And then it's fresh blood. It's not dried blood. It's fresh blood. It's not grape juice. It's fresh blood. Because the scene of the crime, the police, based on the statement, in less than an hour after Miss Sam Cooke was shot, the police was on the scene, so the blood on your clothes was fresh blood. It was fresh blood. It's not dried blood like you done, like it was like a month ago. The clothes that you're wearing, the blood on the clothes, you done washed clothes more than once, and then you just came to work with the clothes you had, and it just so happened that the clothes you had on had some blood stains on, like there's some animal blood or something, or something happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. But see, in the court of law, there's fresh blood on your clothes. That blood's still wet on your clothing, and by it being fresh blood, it'll go through the clothing. A lot of time it'll go through the blood is fresh. It'll soak through the clothing. It'll end up on your body because it's fresh blood. See, this is a process of elimination. There's only 2 people at the crime scene. See, without having to do a DNA, but we know in the day and time we do DNA tests, and they'll prove that the blood was Miss Sam Cooke and all that. And there were pictures taken at the crime of the crime scene. And picture number 5, it showed Mr. Sam Cooke's body. And picture number 5 of the crime scene, and Miss Sam Cooke was kneeling, and he still, had the sports coat, sports jacket on, and like I said, the evidence is overwhelming. There's some more evidence, and it's wrong what she done. And see, in the court of law, you can't go in no court of law and say that's justifiable homicide. Miss Sam Cooke on his knees, and the way he was dressed, and shot from the side, and you the only person at the scene of the crime. Victims' rights. Miss Barbara Campbell Cook still alive. Miss Sam Cooke's wife at the time, Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, is alive today, as well as their 2 beautiful daughters, Linda and Tracy, who were little girls at the time of their father's death. And victims' rights, as well as Miss Sam Cooke's mother and father at the time of death were alive, and all his sisters and brothers, and all his nieces and nephews, all his friends. Miss Sam Cooke was an original member of the Highway QCs, the singing group, the Highway QCs, and one of his prodigies, Mr. Johnny Taylor, he has now passed away himself. He was a prodigy of Miss Sam Cooke, and he recorded for Star Records. And Mr. Lou Rawls was growing up in Chicago. Miss Sam Cooke, a native of the state of Mississippi, a little child, but his family moved to Chicago, and one of his childhood friends who's also in a singing group, Mr. Lou Rawls, and victims' rights. Victims' rights. It wasn't no victims' rights at the time Miss Sam Cooke's murder. But we live in the day that Miss Sam Cooke's murder is one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why we have victims' rights today. As I stated, the evidence is overwhelming. It's first degree murder. It's first degree. I want to say capital murder. You know, the death penalty. There's a criteria for the death penalty. You understand? So, but still, first degree murder. It was premeditation. First degree murder. Guilty, based on the evidence. Now you know, according to the law, civil. You go into a criminal court, to a court of law, whether it be civil court, criminal court, you're innocent to prove guilty based on the evidence. You're innocent to prove guilty. The evidence in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case is overwhelming. Premeditation, first degree murder. Now, when it comes to the capital murder, the death penalty, the criteria based on the evidence. Capital murder, the death penalty, victims' rights. And like I said, the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case is overwhelming. It's first degree murder. It was premeditation. And so there's going to be justice in the court of law for Mr. Sam Cooke and all of his family, all of his close friends, as well as myself, a fan of Mr. Sam Cooke, and it's going to be justice. Victims' rights. And that includes all SAR records. See, you can't shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke. He was a businessman. The law the law tells you Mr. Sam Cooke is not the first businessman or business person to be murdered. You understand? To be murdered. So, you know, the state of California, the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, and that includes the federal court. Because the United States government, when you say the state of California, there are 50 states and U.S. territories. The United States Supreme Court, then you have these district courts, federal district courts, and all states, including U.S. territories, are assigned to a federal district court. So the federal district court, then you have the state of California courts, all the courts, and the county of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. So, court of law. Now, I'm gonna do my Instagram, and after I do my Instagram, I'm doing my Facebook Live on me. Hello everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also on my BrightShine around here in the city of Memphis in the county of the state of Tennessee. Today, it's early Monday morning, September 28, 2020 time, 7 o'clock a.m. First and thank all my family, sport for team church sport. Anti-gang. Now these are few a free logo design website. You go to make anti-gang logo. Now remember these words: coercion, coerce, sexual coerce, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. First, always put God first. Always put God first. Always give thanks to God for all the blessings and guidance that provides us always. Now, anti-gang. The United States Department of Justice, anti-gang. They know what they talking about. The so-called sorority and the fraternity, the alumni, the Justice Department been around way longer and know way much more than the so-called sorority and fraternity, the alumni. The United States Department just say anti-gang. That's right. That's right. All that mob gang and all that talking about street slang words. The United States Department just said anti-gang. That's right. That's right. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, anti-gang. That's right. See all these bitches, these cow-ass bitches, trying to claim the East Coast, bitch trying to claim the whole damn East Coast of the United States of America, from the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, using that occult literature. See, I'm right here in the city of Memphis, in the county seven, in the state of Tennessee. These bitches walking around here from the East Coast, from all these different places on the East Coast, using that occult literature. And see the basis of that occult literature. When you say gang, that's the basis of where that gang and mob came from. They were using that occult literature. United States Department just said anti-gang, the great program. And that occult literature. Western esotericism, Western mystery tradition, Hermetism, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, Eastern Star, Age of Enlightenment, Spiritualism, Kabbalah. We say occult, arcane, then macrocosm, microcosm, esoteric. See, the United States Department of Justice, they know what that is. They know what you're talking about. The United States Department of Justice, they know what you're talking about. See, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know what you're talking about. Occult, arcane, esoteric, spiritualism, theosophy, anthroposophy, hermetic order, golden dawn, new age. Now all that occult signs, occult qualities. See, you just make up a bunch of damn lies. You see, the United Nations. See, the people all over the world, they know about that occult literature. That's the reason why we have a United Nations today. And all the crimes that people have committed. The United Nations, they enacted the International Bill of Human Rights, the International Declaration of Human Rights. That occult literature is wrong. That occult literature is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. In the Holy Bible, God told you. In the Holy Bible, God told you that the occult literature is wrong. It's wrong. The 5 books of Moses, God told you. In the 5 books of Moses, that occult literature is wrong. In the New Testament, Jesus Christ told you that it's wrong. In the book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the greatest commandment, the greatest commandment of law God told, Jesus Christ told that a cold lips is wrong. God told you it's wrong. That a cold lips is wrong. It's wrong. That federal bureau investigation, they know what they talking about. UNESCO, UNICEF, they know way more than the sorority and the fraternity alumni. The United Nations, that's all the people over the world. They members of the United Nations. See, the so-called sorority and fraternity, the alumni, they try to negatively influence the general public with their occult literature. It's wrong. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know way more. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know way more. Been around way longer than the sorority fraternity, the alumni. Now, I'm going to continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke. I'm going to continue to protest and speak out the unjust murder of Mr. Sam Cooke and the unjust ruling by that coroner's inquest. I purchased a copy of Mr. Sam Cooke's autopsy or his coroner's report from Celebrity Archive for $25. Now, the verdict of the coroner's jury, the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, in the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke, deceased, before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles. We, the jury, summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles County in room 150, Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, on the 16th day of December, A.D. 1964, to inquire into the cause of the death of Sam Cooke, having been duly sworn according to law and having made such inquisition, hearing the testimony adduced upon our oaths. Each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cooke, a male married native of Mississippi, aged about 33 years, and that he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964 at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California, that this death was caused by gunshot wound in the chest, perforating the heart, and both lungs with massive hemorrhage, inflicted by a gun in the hand of Berkeley Franklin, 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California. After the deceased had made forcible entry in front of testimony at this time, we find his death to be justifiable homicide committed by the said Berkeley Franklin in protection of life and property, all of which we do certify by this inquisition right by the sign the 16th day of December 1964. Mr. Sam Cooke's murder, first degree murder. Now I want to say capital murder, premeditation, first degree murder. I want to say capital murder, death penalty. There's a criteria, based on the evidence. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, civil court, criminal court. Now, the evidence is overwhelming. The shooter, Brother Lee Franklin, an ignorant buffoon, field house nigga, made a statement at the scene of the crime after shooting and killing Mr. Sam Cooke. She made a statement to the police. She never denied that she shot and killed Mr. Sam Cooke, but she tried to make it sound like it was like she had a valid reason. The evidence is overwhelming. First degree murder, premeditation, capital murder. Now, the evidence, first of all, the handgun, the firearm that was used to shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke, a wrong 22 revolver pistol. As it says in the court documents, Mr. Sam Cooke got a gunshot wound. He was shot and killed with a pistol, the wrong 22 revolver. One bullet killed Mr. Sam Cooke. You can't hit both lungs and a heart with one bullet. Use a handgun and one bullet hit both lungs and a heart from the front or the back. Use your common sense. Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed with that wrong 22 pistol revolver from his left side. He was not standing, he was on his knees. The blood streamed down his left side. There's evidence. The shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, was so close to Mr. Sam Cooke, it was about an eighth of an inch. It left gunpowder residue on the clothing Mr. Sam Cooke was wearing at the time of his death. A sports coat, sports jacket, gunpowder residue. Like I said, the bullet that was recovered from Mr. Sam Cooke's body, they did a ballistic test on the gun and the bullet. It matched the gunpowder residue on Mr. Sam Cooke's clothing. The blood splatter. Now, there are only two people at the scene of the crime. Use your common sense. Now, in a court of law, here it is, 2020, we use DNA in a court of law. Even they ran tests even during 1960. But this is what we want to make sure. When we talk about this, Mr. Sam Cooke's murder in the scene of the crime, use your common sense. Now, Bertha Lee Franklin was the manager at the motel. See, the mountain, that's where she worked. So when you come to work, you're not finna say to come into a court of law, see on a court criminal. You're not finna come in there and talk about your clothing. And talking about you got some fresh blood on your clothing. And that you came to work with clothing with fresh blood on. In a court of law. Civil court, criminal court. The blood on their clothing is fresh. It's on your clothing. Whose blood is it? There's only two people that see a crime. Okay, is that your blood? Are you bleeding somewhere? So do we need to take you to the hospital and do an examination on your body to make sure that it's not your blood? Because we don't see no wounds on your body. So it's not your blood. It's not no animal blood. See, we go through a process of elimination. There's only two people at the scene of crime. We're about doing a test on the blood, the dress and test the blood and prove that it's Miss Sample in a court of law. You can still do tests, but still there's a process of elimination. Because the defendant in a court of law, you can say, well, I don't want to answer any questions or I want to evoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Okay, remain silent. I don't even want to ask you no damn question. Just give me the goddamn dress. And we're going to go through a process of elimination. Now, there's only two people at the scene of the crime. Brother Lee Franklin, the shooter, and Mr. Sam Cook, the victim. You got fresh blood on your clothing. You don't have no wounds on your body. So whose blood is it? It ain't no animal blood. You're gonna come in the court of law and tell the people in the court of law, you got blood on your clothes. You're gonna come to work with blood on your clothes. It's not dry blood. It's not like you got some clothes in like 2-3 weeks ago. I got blood on my clothes, but I washed my clothes and the blood on my clothes is dried blood, and I didn't wash my clothes. It's just a stain hadn't come out. It's not 3-week-old blood. It's fresh blood. The police was on the scene of the crime. This is the evidence. Mr. Sam Cook was shot about 3 o'clock, shot and killed about 3 o'clock in the morning. The police was on the scene of the crime within less than an hour. And you got fresh blood on your clothes. That's Mr. Sam Cook's blood. The blood splatter. You're guilty. See, in the court of law, this is what the detective's supposed to do. See, you can invoke your Fifth Amendment right. I ain't got to ask you a goddamn thing. You ain't got to answer nothing. Yeah, we're going to go through a process and we're going to prove. See? Just like that bullet. The bullet that in the saddle where we had to go through a process and eliminate where it was. The direction of the bullet. Well, if the bullet is going in a downward direction, Mr. Sam Cook couldn't have been standing. That's common sense. Ain't nowhere in the world Mr. Sam Cook was on standing and the bullet going in a downward direction. Mr. Sam Cook would have been standing. The bullet would have went in an upward direction. But he wasn't standing. He was on his knees. The bullet hit the left heart, hit the left lung, then the heart, and then the right lung. The evidence is overwhelming. First degree murder, premeditation. And so, now, we live in a day and time, we have victims' rights. Victims' rights. At the time Miss Sam Cook's murder, he was married to Miss Barbara Kimball Cook, and she's still alive today. And they had 2 beautiful little daughters who were little girls at the time of their father's murder, Linda and Tracy. And Miss Sam Cook's mother and father at the time, his murder were alive, and all his sisters and brothers, all his his nieces and nephews, all his children, all the grandchildren, all of Miss Sam Cooke's friend. Miss Sam Cooke is an original member of the singing group in Chicago, the Highway QCs. And also Mr. Lou Rawls, also the Highway QC, and Mr. Lou Rawls, best friend of Mr. Sam Cooke from Chicago, Illinois. And Mr. Johnny Taylor, who is also passed away, was a prodigy of Mr. Sam Cooke. He was also a member of the Highway QC, also in the singing group. And he has now passed away himself. He recorded for Saw Records, Mr. Sam Cooke's record label. Mr. Sam Cooke is a businessman. You can't shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke. Mr. Sam Cooke, the businessman, Saw Records. Victims' rights. Victims' rights. The evidence is overwhelming. There were pictures taken of this crime scene. And picture number 5 showed Mr. Sam Cooke's body at the time of his death. And they had to remove the body before they took pictures of the crime scene. Picture number 5, it showed Mr. Sam Cooke's body. And he had a sports coat, sports jacket on. And he was on his knees at the time of his death. He was on his knees. I want to say capital murder, but there's a criteria. Death penalty. This first degree murder overwhelmed the evidence, overwhelmed premeditation. Like I said, it's going to be justice. in a court of law, civil court, criminal court, for Mr. Sam Cooke. That includes Saw Records, and for all his family, friends, fans. Victims' rights. Victims' rights.
Let's see the bases of that. Hello, everybody.
Now, I just ended my Instagram, so now I'm gonna do my Facebook Live. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Midland County, State, Tennessee. Today, it's early Monday morning, September the 28th, 2020 time, 7:31 a.m. First, I thank all my family support for your continued support. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. These are just a few of the free logo design websites you go to make anti-gang logo. Now remember these words: coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, and psychological abuse. The United States Department of Justice, anti-gang. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, anti-gang. Now, then in all that mob and gang, the United States Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know way more than a sorority and fraternity alumni. They've been around way more. Long, way long. See, anti-gang, that's right. The great program, that's right. The East Coast bitch, the so-called sorority and fraternity, going around trying to claim the East Coast of the whole East Coast of the United States of America, from the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, using that occult literature. Bunch of coward bitches. I'm right here in the city of Memphis, in the state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff, and I see a lot of these bitches walking around. They using that occult literature. See, the United States Department of Justice, anti-gang. Anti-gang. When it comes to that occult literature, you see, when you say gang and mob, the Department of Justice, it ain't nothing to argue about. See, in the past, yesterday, the majority of African Americans was uneducated, miseducated, undereducated, oppressed. And then you had people walking around trying to tell you something, tell you this and tell you that. People did a lot of things in the past just to survive. Just to survive. Not necessarily that it was right, not necessarily that it was wrong. It was just, I tried to survive. People just did what they did to survive, to live, just to survive. That's nothing, man. That's as basic as you can get. The United States Department just anti-gang. There ain't nothing to argue about. There ain't nothing to argue about. See, there ain't nothing to argue about. The United States Department just anti-gang. That's the end of that. No, you know, there ain't nothing for nobody to be arguing about. You got a dictionary, you know the word gang means, but there ain't nothing to argue about. The Department just see the sorority and return. They try to go around, try to negatively influence the general public. Talking about freedom of assembly and freedom of expression, freedom of speech. The Department of Justice, anti-gang. There ain't nothing to argue about. There ain't nothing to argue about. Then mob, you see that occult literature. It's the same thing, because see, that way it came from. It's just like the Catholic Church and all that particular church. The Protestant Reformation movement, Church in 95 Thesis Church, which is the Catholic Church and all that particular church. See, it came from that occult literature. It was people using that occult literature. The American Restoration Movement, the Stone Campbell Movement, the Church of Christ, it came from the people using that occult literature. It's wrong. The United States Department of Justice, anti-gang. That's right. Western esotericism, Western mystical tradition, Hermetism, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, Eastern Star, Age and Enlightenment, Spiritualism, Kabbalah, the occult, arcane, they can call it, my God, exoteric. See, the United States Department of Justice, they know about this. They know about that occult literature. They know. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, they know what you're talking about. They know exactly what you're talking about. Anti-gang. Occult. Arcane. Esoteric. Spiritualism. Theosophy. Anthroposophy. Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn. New Age. Occult science. Occult quality. The United States Department of Justice, they know about it. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. And see, this occult, that occult literature, the United Nations, that's all the people of the world. The reason why you have a United Nations Day, because there were people in the yesterday who were using that occult literature and committed all kind of crimes against themselves and other people. The United Nations, they enacted the International Declaration or Bill of Human Rights. That's right. Because of the reason why they did it, because it was based on that so-called literature, that occult literature, that people for years have been using to victimize innocent men, women, and children, and destroy the environment, nature, and wildlife. That occult literature is wrong. The United States Department of Justice, anti-gang, that's right. The International Bill of Human Rights, Declaration of Human Rights is right. That occult literature, wrong. The Holy Bible is right. That occult literature, wrong. God told you in the Old Testament, in the 5 books of Moses, that the occult literature was wrong. In the New Testament, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, He told you in the book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the greatest commandment in the law. He told you that occult literature is wrong. Now, I'm going to continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke. I'm going to continue to protest and speak out. Mr. Sam Cooke was a good man. He was unjustly murdered in December 1964. And his murder was ruled a justifiable homicide. It was premeditated first-degree murder. Women say capital murder, there's a criteria for the death penalty based on the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. Premeditation, first-degree murder. It's an open shut case. There's no reason for Mr. Sam Cooke's family, friends, fans to even think that that's right. What was done in December 1964, that corners it was wrong. What the shooter and the murderer did, Bertha Lee Franklin, is wrong. It's wrong. The evidence, like I said, is overwhelming. Victims' rights. We didn't have victims' rights at the time of Mr. Sam Cooke's murder. We have victims' rights today, and they apply. In Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case, they apply victims' rights. Now I purchased a copy of Mr. Sam Cooke's autopsy. The coroner's report from Celebrity Archive, which is public knowledge, for $25. Now, this is the verdict of the coroner's jury of the state of California, County of Los Angeles. Like I said, these are official court documents. And the federal district court is also, because the state of California, like all 50 states and U.S. territories, are assigned to a federal district court. It's the United States Supreme Court. And the United States Supreme Court has federal district courts. And like I say, all 50 states and U.S. territories are assigned to a federal district court. So the state of California is assigned to a federal district court. And then we have the state of California courts, the county of Los Angeles and the city of Los Angeles. Victims' rights. In the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke deceased before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles, we, the jurors, summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles County at room 150 Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, on the 16th day of December 18, 1964, to inquire into the cause of the death of Sam Cooke, having been duly sworn according to law, having made such inquisition and hearing the testimony adduced upon our oath. Each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cooke, a male, married, native of Mississippi, aged by 33 years, and then he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964 at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California. And that this death was caused by a gunshot wound from the chest, perforating the heart and both lungs, with massive hemorrhage inflicted by a gun in the head of Bertha Franklin, 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California. After the deceased had made forcible entry in front of testimony introduced at this time, we find the death to be justified homicide committed by the said Bertha Franklin, protection of life and property. All of which we duly certified by this inquisition right by us signed the 16th day of December 1964. We know that the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case is overwhelming. Premeditation, first degree murder. I want to say capital murder. The death penalty. That's a criteria, according to the law. Civil court, criminal court. You innocent until proven guilty. You innocent until proven guilty. That's the law. Civil court, criminal court. You innocent until proven guilty. Now, like I said, the evidence is overwhelming. First degree murder. The evidence is overwhelming. Guilty. As it says in the document, Mr. Sam Cooke had both lungs and his heart. The bullet, the evidence, the gun, the firearm, the handgun that was used to shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke, a wrong .22 revolver, pistol, 6 bullets, 6. And there were 3 shots fired. Let me say this. Use your common sense. This is a common sense thing. Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed with a wrong .22 pistol revolver. You can't hit both lungs and the heart with the shoot and kill Mr. Sam Cooke with one bullet. There was only one bullet that killed Mr. Sam Cooke. You can't hit Mr. Sam Cooke from the front or the back with a revolver and one bullet. Hit both lungs and the heart. It's a common sense. From the left side, Mr. Sam Cooke was shot and killed from his left side. On his left side. The direction of the bullet. This is another common sense thing. You couldn't have been, Mr. Sam Cooke could not be standing on his 2 feet. He couldn't have been standing. Why is that? The direction of the bullet. The direction of the bullet is going in a downward direction. Hit the left lung first. Then hit his heart. And then hit his right lung. What did they find the bullet? They found the bullet that killed Mr. Sam Cooke on his right side. He couldn't have been standing. See, it's a common sense thing. Even the FBI, crime investigators, use your common sense. It's a common sense thing. They found a bullet on Miss Sam Cooke's right side. The direction of the bullet was going down. Couldn't have been standing. Ain't no way. There's no way Miss Sam Cooke been standing. He was on his knees. He was on his knees. At the time of his death, when he was shot and killed, he was on his knees. The shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, at close range. Miss Sam Cooke at the time of death had a sports coat, sports jacket on, gunpowder residue, an eighth of an inch from his body. The barrel of the gun, close range, gunpowder residue from the barrel. It was so close to Miss Sam Cooke's body, it left gunpowder residue on the sports coat, sports jacket. There's evidence. Now, Bertha Lee Franklin made a statement after she shot and killed Miss Sam Cooke. The police came on the scene. She made a statement. She even denied shooting and killing Miss Sam Cooke. So that's evidence. That's evidence. Now, the gun and the bullet, they did ballistics on the gun and the bullet and match. There's evidence. The gunpowder residue, evidence. Distinct evidence. The clothing, the clothing, the blood coming from the Sam Cooke left side is evidence. The police took pictures of the crime scene. They took 7 pictures. Picture number 5. They showed Miss Sam Cooke's body after he had been shot and killed, and before the coroners removed his body from the crime scene. He was on his knees. And the evidence is overwhelming. First degree premeditated, first degree murder. Won't say capital murder, based on the evidence. Like I said, you get to prove guilty. Well, I mean, proven first degree murder. Guilty. The evidence overwhelming. And it's some more evidence. But like I said, they took pictures of the crime scene and the clothing that the shooter wore. Evidence. Now, it's a common sense thing too. First of all, at the crime scene, there's only 2 people at the crime scene. The shooter, Bertha Lee Franklin, and the victim, Mr. Sam Cooke. Like I said, at close range, blood splatter. After you shot Mr. Sam Cooke, he ended up getting killed. When the bullet hit, the blood come from your body. Now, Mr. Sam Cooke did have a sports coat, sports jacket on, but still, blood splatter. You got blood on your clothing, fresh blood. You say you the manager at the motel, that that's the place where you work. And let me say this. Bertha Lee Franklin shot and killed Miss Sam Cooke. Now, if you got blood on your clothing and the police get to the crime scene in less than an hour, and the blood on your clothing is fresh, only 2 people at the crime scene, you guilty. Now I know we live in a day and time, 2020, DNA test. And they had possible tests in 1964. Let me say this, in a court of law, civil court, criminal court, there's a process of elimination. That's a process of elimination. The police detective still gonna do a process of elimination. Because see, it's two people at the crime scene. It's two people at the crime scene. The victim, Mr. Sanford, and the shooter. Brother Lee Frank, you got blood on your clothes, and the blood on your clothes is fresh blood. It's not like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. Like you came to work, and then again, you the manager, and this is a place where you work. You finna tell the police detective that you came to work with blood on your clothes. That's how a manager come to work. Come on now. See, it's a common sense thing. When you start, I know you don't have to answer questions. Be honest with you, the police detective ain't gotta ask you a damn thing. Cause see, police detective gonna still do their job. They gotta investigate. They ain't gotta ask you nothing. You can invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Well, we're gonna still investigate. And it's still gonna be evidence, and you're gonna still get convicted. See, like I said, the police got to the crime scene in less than an hour. But Miss Sanford, you got fresh blood on your clothes. It ain't no smear, and it ain't no dry blood. Like you can wash your clothes and got a blood stain on your clothes. Like I say, you the manager. What the hell you doing coming to a place where you work and you the manager with blood stained clothing? Come on now. See, it's a common sense thing. It's a common sense thing. You don't get away with it. You got fresh blood on your clothes, and it's only two people at the crime scene. You guilty. It ain't the victim, them not the victim's clothes that you wear, them your damn clothes. And you got the shooter's blood on your clothes. You guilty. You guilty. You guilty. The evidence is overwhelming. See? You can invoke your Fifth Amendment right and you still guilty. You ain't got to say a damn thing. You still guilty. And it ain't no jury, they're going to convict your ass. There's only two people at the crime scene. And you got fresh blood on your clothes. You guilty. You will be convicted. First degree murder. Premeditated. You're going to be convicted. Premeditated. Like I say, see, the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. First degree murder. Excuse me. The evidence is overwhelming. It's first degree murder. Premeditated. It's already been proven. Capital murder. The death penalty. There's a criteria, based on the evidence. Everybody's innocent to prove guilty. Civil court, criminal court. Now, victims' rights. Victims' rights. At the time of Sam Cook's death, they have victims' rights. This 2020, victims' rights apply in Miss Sam Cook's murder case. Victims' rights. That includes SAR records. That includes SAR records. SAR records can't be left out. You can't shoot and kill Miss Sam Cook. You can't do that. Victims' rights. Mr. Sam Cook, he really is. He won. He's not the reason, but he is one of the reasons why we have victims' rights today. It's gonna be justice for Mr. Sam Cook. All the family. All the family. You understand? Friends. And fame. Little fame. In a court of law. Civil court. Criminal court. Victims' rights. Now the title of this book is West African Tradition Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Homer but no Dr. P. Adolumo the payment. The title of this book is African Tradition Religion, definition written by Dr. E. Below I don't. The title of this book is African Religion and Philosophy by Dr. John S. M.P. The title of this book is Concepts of God and African written by Dr. John S. M.P. Now you know that stupid sorority and stupid fraternity, the East Coast bitch. You know they be using that occult literature, trying to claim the whole damn East Coast. Using that occult literature, calling themselves sister and brother in Latin. And then trying to go around all the United States of America, all 50 states and U.S. territory with that occult literature. The United States Department of Justice say anti-gang. That's right. The United Nations, they enacted the International Bill of Human Rights, the Declaration of Human Rights. That's right. Now, the Organized Crime Patrol Act of the United States Government acted the Organized Crime Patrol Act 1970. Title 9 of the Organized Crime Patrol Act 1970, the Racketeer Influence of Corrupt Organization Act, the RICO Act. It's the anti-gang. The Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act 1970, Controlled Substance Act, Psychotropic Substance Act, Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute, Kingpin Statute, is all anti-gang. Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention Act of 1971 established the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, as well as other related legislation. The Comprehensive Anti-Gang List, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, and the Comprehensive Gang Law, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, the Bureau of Justice System, the Office of Justice Program, and the United States Department of Justice. The Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice System, the United States Department of Justice, Comprehensive Anti-Gang List, and the Projects in Neighborhood. The United States Department of Justice. The Office of Community Police Service, Comprehensive Anti-Gang List. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice System, the International Narcotics Law Enforcement Affairs, the United States Department of State, the Institute for Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistant Education Training Great Program, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, in October 2009. The National Youth Gang Center, which has been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention since 1995, merged with the National Gang Center, which has been funded by the Bureau of Justice since 2003. The National Gang Center complex state laws against gangs, gang prevention, opioid research program, Mr. James Allen, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice System, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, National Gang Center, book entitled "The History of Street Gang in the United States." You can also go to the quick browser Wikipedia. You'll find the same information. Gangs in the United States. The United States Department of Justice, Office of the United States Attorney General, 1457, Criminal Street Gang Statute, 18 United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Gang Intelligence Center. The United States Department of Justice Organized Crime Gang Statute. You also have other federal state level agencies. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, Anti-Gang Strategy, Prevention, Intervention, Assistance, Suppression. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, United States Department of Health and Human Services, Simple Disease Control Prevention, National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, Changing Course, Preventing Gang Membership, and Strive to be revised everywhere. The United States Department of Justice, United States Department of Education, United States Department of Health and Human Services, United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, United States Department of Labor, and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, National Forum Youth Violence Prevention Forum. You can go to youth.gov and be informed about the National Forum Youth Violence Prevention Forum, as well as the Comprehensive Anti-Gang List and Comprehensive Gang Law. The United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice System, National Violence Prevention Council, keep kids out of the game. And also, you go to youth. The United States Department of Justice. Hazing is a crime. You go to lawyer.com and inform about anti-hazing. Now this is a list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. For example, state names: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North, South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Scroll down to the bottom where you see also you'll see a list of place names of indigenous origin in America. Now, when you talk about piracy and pirates that are called literature, that what they was using, that are called literature, the pirates. And that's one of the reasons, not the only reason, that's one of the reasons why we have a United Nations today. That's one of the reasons why the United Nations enacted the International Bill for Declaration of Human Rights. Because it's wrong. It's wrong. The United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, the New Spirit, the Bureau of Justice, the National Gang Selling Books, and the title of the book, the History of Street Gangs of the United States, written by Mr. James and Mr. W. Moore. You can also go to the quick reference Wikipedia. You can find the same information that be titled Gangs in the United States. 13, Colony history. Harvard University is the oldest junior high learner in the United States, founded March 13, 1639, came by to William Mary Carter. Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February 8, 1693, second oldest junior high learner in the United States of America. Phi Beta Kappa Psi, founded December 5, 1776, the College of William Mary, recognized as the first Greenbelt student sign North America. Alpha Delta Pi First Sorority, founded 1851, Wesleyan College, Macon, Georgia. First organization of Dr. Bird Sorority and Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874, Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York. The first women's fraternity was at DePaul College. The basis of the sorority fraternity is an old world secret society from Africa, from Asia, and from Europe. For example, the Eastern Star, the Freemasons, talking about youth, the Mathematician, the Anderson, 13, 9, 14, 25 minutes on the Hologram Mesh, Radio, the Bone, Cook Mesh, the Dynamic Mesh. Examples of them old words secret society from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, Skull and Bone, Rose Group, Sun, Liver, Thug Side, Proud Side, Ordo, Temple, Orient, Knights of the Golden Age, Women, the Ancient Urban Order, Nobles, and Shrine, Improved Order, Pale System, the Star Freemasons, the Elks, Lord, Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, Knights Battalion, Knights Columbus, Illuminati, Bronstein, the Mythic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of the Real Prophet, of the Chain Ring, the United Order of the Golden Crown, United Ancient Order of the Good National Ring, Ancient Order of the Name, Hope is Die, Knights Temple, Scottish Rite. The Spanish God Doom, Carbonera, the Black Hand, you say Mafia, that's the Afro-Asiatic, say Coastal North, the Land, the Triad, Yakuza, Dole Sour. Street slang, gang cluster, and mob cluster. Merriam-Webster, third international dictionary, Oxford English Complete, and total definition made of the word gang cluster and mob cluster. And other street slang, old school, thug, crook, hoodlum, Mac, player, pimp, boy, hustler, nigga, feeling, housing. You got street slang for music. Hip hop, rock and roll, swing, groove, jazz, blues, funk, doo-wop, bebop. You got street slang for money, currency, exchange. Bucks, rack, stack, band, bread, dope, scratch, move, Benjamin. Dead president, street slang, non-official writing by no street slang. Now the sorority return. They be used never caught news, the East Coast bitch. Trying to claim the whole damn East Coast. From the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, use never caught news. The United States Department of Justice, hazing is a crime. They're criminals. They commit crime on and off the campus. They use and abuse tobacco products. They indulge in gambling and gang chain. They use and abuse alcohol and drugs. They indulge in immoral activities. They indulge in sexual demons and depravity. Don't be misled by the sorority fraternity. All those persons that initiated started the sorority fraternity, renounced them. Denounced the whole concept and idea of sorority fraternity. Now, the sorority fraternity, they work and they manage the businesses, companies, and corporations. They use and misuse the background check. They commit crime against humanity, atrocities, violation of human rights and civil rights, inhuman genocide, ethnic, all forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, water, and or pollution. They destroy the environment, they kill wildlife. So don't be misled by the sorority fraternity. They criminals. They be using that occult nature. Report their ass to the FBI. Now, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Global Rights Fund, Human Rights Watch, Frontier, International for Human Rights. Conservation International, Wildlife Conservation Society, Conservation Foundation, Conservation Global Rights Watch Institute, Service Association, Earth Justice, Conservation Volunteer, Wildlife Conservation Network, Atlantic Wildlife Trust, Biodiversity Nation, Service Association, Rare Species Conservation Center, Wildlife Research Conservation Trust, Rainforest Trust, the International Rainforest Conservation Organization, the Rainforest Alliance, the Rainforest Action Network. Biodiversity International, Earth Day Network, and Environmental Defense Fund, Friends of the Earth, Friends of Nature, Greenpeace, the Nature Conserve, the Wildlife Conservation Society, Soil and Water Conservation, Clean Water Action, Worldwide Council, Marine Conservation Institute, Marine Conservation Alliance, Ocean Preservation Society, Ocean Society, Global Ocean Commission, the International Marine Life Alliance. Now, the Catholic Church and all that particular church, it was founded by people who were using that occultism, some occultists. They were using that occultism. The Protestant Reformation movement, Church of the 95 Church, that's the Catholic Church and all their particular churches. And it's still the occult. The American Restoration Movement, the Stone County Movement, that is the Catholic Church and all that particular churches. Stone and County doing a secret handshake, the Church of Christ, the occult. That's who founded it. It's the Catholic Church and all their particular churches. Now, Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, a lying, murdering devil. He was an occultist. He wrote all those epistles in the New Testament. The man-made religion was being used in those epistles that Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, wrote. For example, Romans chapter 16, verse 16, simply one over the Holy Catholic Church. They put the suffix ES of Christ salute. Another example, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 4. So that we ourselves glory you in the church. They put the suffix ES. But God for your praise and pray for all your persecution, tribulation, and ye endure. Devil worship and Satanism. That's religious persecution. You can't take the word devil and say not the Holy Bible. The sorority and the fraternity alumni, that's a cult. Western esotericism, Western mystery tradition, hermetism, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, Eastern Star, Angels of the Light, spiritualism, Kabbalah, occult, arcane, microcosm, microcosm, and esoteric. It's wrong. The United Nations is right. The United Nations, the International Bill, Declaration of Human Rights is right. It's wrong. This occultism is wrong. The United States Department of Justice, they know about it. Occult, arcane, esoteric, spiritual, theosophy, anthroposophy, Hermetic order, and golden dawn, New Age, occult science, occult qualities. States Department of Justice. They know about it. They know about it. Make sure you can continue to study the first century. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, was born in the first century, lived in the first century, established the church in the first century, resurrected in the first century, crucified and resurrected in the first century, rose to heaven. Continue to study the first century. Look, we're going to continue to study ancient people in the Bible, the Amorites, Afro-Asiatics, the Egyptians, Afro-Asiatics, the Amalekites, supposed descendants of Esau, the Kenites. They were a nomadic tribe in the ancient Moses father or the Kenites, the Canaanites, ancient people, the Kenizzites, ancient people, Jupanate, father of the Israelite communicator was called the Kenizzites, the Hittites, Indo-Europeans, the Perizzites, ancient people, Rephaimites or Rephaim, they were called Samsuna, the Evian, ancient people, they were considered giants, Canaanites, Canaan, son of Ham, grandson of Noah, Canaanite, and ethnic Gentile term covered various indigenous populations, both settled and nomadic pastoral group throughout southern Jordan, Canaan. Girgasites, they were descendants of Canaan. Jebusites, Jebus, the Hittites, the Horites, the Hurrians, Philistines. They're not Afro-Asiatic, and it's not been determined that the Philistines are Indo-European. Moabites, Afro-Asiatic, Midianites, Afro-Asiatic, Ammonite, Afro-Asiatic. Now, God told you in the Holy Bible, in the New Testament, in the 5 books of Moses, as well as other books of, major prophets. In the New Testament, in the book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John, and all the book of Apostles, the Acts of the Apostles, 1st and 2nd Peter, James, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Hebrews, Philemon, the book of Revelation. All this stuff is Saul Rock. You don't really need to be reading it. But like I said, God told you in the Holy Bible that occult literature is wrong. See, in the 5 books more, I got these scriptures. Read the whole book, 5 books more, but I got Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. God telling you that occult literature is wrong. God told you in the 10 Commandments that occult literature wrong. 5 times God told you, I am the Lord thy God. You don't listen to any other except God. That's the only one you listen to, God. The 10 Commandments. In the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. Let's go there. Like I said, in the Holy Bible, the Old Testament, 5 books of Moses, the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. God told you 5 times, I am the Lord thy God. That occult literature is wrong. And God spake all these words saying, I am the Lord thy God. That occult literature is wrong. Which have brought thee out of the land of Israel, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or things in the earth beneath, or that is in the water on the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. That's the 2nd time. Visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and show mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless to take his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. That's the 4th time. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For the 6th day the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. That's the 5th time. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. That occult literature is wrong. Now, we just read the Old Testament. We're going to go to the New Testament. That occult literature is wrong. We're going to the New Testament. The greatest commandment in the law. The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 35 through 40. The book of Mark, chapter 12, verses 28 through 31. The book of Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 through 28. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 35 through 40. And it reads, then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. That occult literature is wrong. That occult literature is wrong. It's wrong. With all thy heart. What that mean? We just read the Old Testament, the 5 books of Moses. And then you have all the major prophets and minor prophets. And all the books. You believe in those books. You believe that the God, through divine inspiration, gave those scriptures to all of us as a way of life. Because that's the same God of the New Testament. And with all thy soul, what that mean? Well, you see how they asking the question. You see how we read in the book of Matthew. And it says that it says the Pharisees had heard that they put the Sadducees aside. They were gathered together. And so one of the Pharisees asked a question. So this is what we want to say about it. What do we mean to love the Lord with all thy soul? The Pharisee who asked our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, what about his soul? Do we love the Lord thy God with all thy heart? Because to be a Pharisee and a Sadducee, you know what a Pharisee and a Sadducee is? A cult. The so-called Jews who were fighting against the children of Israel. They were using that occult knowledge. So, the Pharisee who asked the question, Master, which is the great commandment of law? When our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, answered that question, when our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ give you the prescription, give you a prescription, then you take that prescription. You make good use of that prescription. You don't, you understand, be rebellious. You listen to Jesus because he wasn't listening. He supposed to be listening, but he wasn't listening. And why is it important to listen? For this reason. The Pharisee who asked the question about the commandments of the Old Testament, the people who lived in the Old, who God gave those commandments to. God shaped and molded those people to be where he wanted them to be. Because they couldn't do it on their own. And what do it mean? With all our mind. See, when you use your mind to live, to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to shelter yourself, do you listen to God? Do you listen to God? So is it. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And again, the first thing that's most important, when you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. See, for a lot of people, that's a hard thing to do. So I know if you can't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. You need to work on self first, and then you can get to love a neighbor. Read your Bible. Read your Bible with an understanding. And then it says, when these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, their culture was wrong. It's the same thing that a culture is wrong. chick. The Forester Society. The United Order of the Golden Cross. Knights of the Golden Eagle. So I mean, you know, these people did all this stuff. You don't even have an idea who these people are. Background check. See, people did a lot of wrong yesterday. Then they'll try to put stuff in place. Then the wrong that they did yesterday, people today will do wrong. And then people tomorrow. See, exposed people yesterday, so people today can be exposed. So people tomorrow can be exposed. Background check is important. Background check. Nice upper thighs. Background check. Nice of Columbus. Background check. Background check. Nice of the Golden Eagle. Background check. Man, who the hell is the Knights of the Golden Eagle? The Knights Templar. Background check. I done heard of the Knights Templar over there in England. I done heard of the Knights Templar. It's important. Anti-gang. United States Department of Justice. The United States Department of Justice. That's right. Wrong. Now, the United States Department of Justice, they know about it. They know about it. Call it up, yeah. Call it up, yeah. See, that's one of the main reasons why the United Nations is here today and why we have an international bill of human rights. International bill of human rights. That's right. That's right. That'll call this wrong. I'm gonna get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Jones, also on BrightShine, they right in the city, members of the county, city, state of Tennessee. Thank all my family support for your continued courage support. It's going to be justice in a court of law, civil court, criminal court for Mr. Sam Cooke. All his family, all his friends, fans, That includes our record, victims' rights. Take care of yourself. Each and every one of your very best.